In the upper left, in the blue, folks, his name, of course, is Dark. In the upper right, in the red, playing on a Terran map, his teammate, it's Cure. And for those of you that missed it in Home Store Cup today, Cero played a 6 series. I think it was Spirit on this map that he did end up losing. Now, he won the series, but he played a sick game on this one where he kind of fell behind. The map went 100% mined out. Like, very rarely do we see it so where literally you can mine no more minerals whatsoever. So we're gonna have to see how this one does end up going. I don't know that Cure is playing the turtle. For a while he was, and we saw a couple open cups where it was dark and it was Cure, and Cure was just trying to turtle hard, and he won a game, and then Cure kind of bopped him for the rest of it. And that was like February, I think. So I mean, we've actually just stopped seeing Cure be nearly as active in these. Yeah, it was Cerro Spirit game 1 on Stargazers, which was really a sick map. Very fun to watch. But does Cure attempt that? Because as we're all aware, we all saw Valencia, or at least I assume most of us did, that Dark versus Maru 7-game series that was really fantastic. But the big takeaway was that Dark was able to break the turtle style that like no other Zerg seems to be able to do. So do you try to go late game? Do you try to drag it out like that? If you're curious, is that worth doing it? Is that worth trying? And well, it is, because he's gonna go 3cc play at the very least. 3cc play, of course it does, or a 3cc opening does of course mean that your tech is delayed, your starport a little delayed, your additional barracks a little bit slower. Right, you're just not going to have as much early because, again, you've spent that 450 minerals. You've bought yourself a third command center. And what does Dark do? Understanding that this is Stargazers, understanding that this is a map that Terrans love to get greedy on, because hey, this pocket base is so takeable. It's so much easier for Cure to take compared to Dark, or compared to really any other compared to any Protoss or Zerg, because of course, you have to long distance mine this distance if you're a Protoss or a Zerg. You have to long distance this distance if you're a Terran. I mean, it just really is incomparable. So Dark says, yeah, Roach Warren is going to be the name of the game. Cure will spot that out though, but remember, another Reaper on the way. Interesting. But okay, will be Banshee play on the way for Dark. I wonder whether Dark changes his mind in this game. He does have 5 Roaches on the way, but because he was scouted, he can assume that Cure is going to be able to deal with this in some way, shape, or form. You can assume Banshees or Cyclones, or maybe both, but doubtful. What does he do? He says, okay, I really only need these Roaches to punch through the wall. I'm going to flood with the Lings behind that one, and that's an interesting decision. Now, this is delayed speed. This was effectively a gasless opening from Dark. That means that he's been able to get a lot more workers earlier for the same type of bush than he normally would be able to. As now here come the Roaches on the other side of the map. But look at this Dark. He's hiding his Lings. He knows they can run across the map rather quickly indeed. So that's not a big deal. Ravagers morphing as well. 10 Lings more on the way. Dark. This is not a, I'm going to put on some pressure and then I'm going to go back to droning. No, this is a 3-hatch all in coming in from the evil Zerg. So now we're going to see Banshee's going to find a Ravager, and this is going to trigger things. Dark, he's going to have to try to... Actually, there's just not even a wall. He wants to knock down these Hellions. We're going to see one Hellion get rather low. Here come Lings. The Banshee has been distracted now, and here comes Dark. Steamrolling into the natural, into the main base. Ideally, Vials are not really going to land, but you can't run in there with a lot of Lings. The Hellions are going to kill it all off. They're going to try anyways, and now here comes the wall. It's all the way up. Banshees, well, they're going to just knock down the Ravagers. So Dark gets 6 workers. He's going to force maybe a lift on the 3rd. This is not worth it. Maybe unless something more happens, and actually it seems like something more is happening. The Lings, they're getting surrounded just a little bit more. A couple more workers fall, but yeah, that's actually just not really going to do it. Banshee actually takes a lot of shots, and a couple more Lings arrive, but the wall is forever up, it's forever young. And sure, yeah, Cure can't really mine from this base at the moment. There's more and more, a couple more links find their way over, but he's mining from here. This did not get the value that Dark was looking for in any way, shape, or form, so he's going to be a little sneaky about things. He says, okay, let me run around the doodad. Let me see if I can make another run by happen, but Banshees are here once again, and Dark says, well, that's not going to work. Drat, I thought you'd run across the map if I didn't show up immediately. That is not what happened whatsoever. So now Banshees look like they're ready to get a little more active on the map, as a couple more Hellions have been produced. So more importantly, anti-Zergling tech has been produced in this game. Dark trying to may have some semblance of creep spread forward. He had a little bit, but that's another downside of this push. You are not building as many queens. You're cutting every corner to have a ton of lings and a ton of roaches, hoping to bamboozle your opponent, but that was a game where Dark scouted, where Cure scouted the Roach Warren, so you got to assume, if you're Dark, that was going to happen. Is now the Banshees, they're going to find one drone to start. Ooh, Queen's off creep here. No detection. This is a dead Queen. And they're going to be, okay, now there's detection, but already losing one Queen is really not what you're looking for. So here now, using those Banshees, looks like to knock some creep spread down. Yeah, there we go. And, oh, that's a... That infestation pit is before his evos. I guess he says, okay, well, yeah, my win condition this game, I need some fantastic fungals to go with my vials, and that's going to be the play. But Dark is supply blocked here. He lost 2 overlords. The push coming in from Cure is coming fast. It is coming hard, and it is going to be a damn difficult game, or a damn difficult push for Cure to stop at the moment. Yeah, it does not have combat shields. Yeah, there's no 1-1. But when you have the Roach player, half the supply of the bio player, I mean, you know, that is just really bad news bears. So will be pathogen glands. That is going to be Dark's attempt to try to find his way back in this game. And we got to point out, there is no better Zerg in the world at coming back from playing from behind, at playing with an economic deficit, low eco games, than Dark. So here comes the bio stimming forward, but there are plenty of queens there in a pre-made concave, so Cure really not going to get too much done with that one. But now he's forced queens out creep, and now there are no transfusions. Oh no, Dark, you've fallen right into Cure's trap, and he's going to get a couple queens, couple roaches, 5 workers go down as Hellions dive into the third base as well. And yeah, sure, it's only a couple queens, you don't get them all. But if I'm Cure here, and I'm trying to just nickel and dime my way out of this game, tiny wins here or there are more than fine. You're like, yeah, I killed a couple queens. That's less injects. That's less supply later on. That's less transfuses later on. You love to see it. Now Cure active on the map once again, he's getting Overlord, and that really has been a problem for Dark this game. Now, not now, he's in a better spot. I mean, he's not close to being supply blocked, but Dark has lost a lot of Overlords this game. The grand total of, what is that? Oh, only 2? I could have sworn, I guess he didn't lose that one. I thought he lost 3. Anyway, it's a problem. It's on the bottom side. Cure taking a fight, but really not getting all that much. And now Dark, he says, maybe I've stabilized a little bit. These infestors are going to be really scary for Cure if he gets caught unawares, but he's got a hive on the way. He's got a Hydra Den down. He's going to go into lurkers, and one of the benefits of the style that Cure is or that Dark has opted to go for, he's gonna have much better upgraded lurkers than he might normally have. Well, actually, as I say that, 1-1's not even done for Dark. So normally, going roaches, 1-1 roaches into lurkers means you have 2-2 roaches much faster, or 2-2 lurkers much faster than you might otherwise do. But in this game, that's actually not true. Cure is going to have 2-2 shortly after Dark's 1-1 completes, so that's not even the case. But with these 3 infestors on the field, 2 more are on the way, Cure's got to be rather judicious about how he takes the fight. He's got to be really careful about how he opts to take a fight here. Man, it is so... part of it is that Cure has not been super aggressive with things, but it is so impressive how Dark is not dead. Dark lost workers on top of a game where his eco was super low, and he lost pretty much his entire push. And now he's sitting here. He's almost maxed out. Granted, there are a decent amount of roaches and ravagers, which are even more supply expensive, but He's got Hive done. He's got 2-2 on the way. Lurker Den is done. He's got a couple Infestors. This is an army that Cure can that Dark can absolutely win fights with. And if you're behind in a game like this, that's all you want. You just want opportunities to win fights. You want opportunities to take fights. As there we go, Cure going, or Dark going for Lurker Burrow on the way as well. As Cure rotating bottom side, going to try to deal with this 5th base as he got a little bit of a drop, and that's just going to be a strict cancel. There's no way the Dark's going to be able to deal with that one. So now pushing bottom side. That's where Cure's going to put the significant weight of his attention. But here comes Dark looking for a bit of surround before Cure really gets set up. But now Dark, he's going to knock one tank down to start. That's nice. Cure tries to rotate over, but he's a little bit too late. Push into the middle of the map, though. There's going to be a Queen falling. Lings as well. These Lings are just about useless. It's 2-2 bio versus 0-1 Lings. They're not going to get a whole hell of a lot. Queen's starting to fall here as well. And this opens up timings, opens up room for Cure on the bottom side. Those Fungals to start are going to be nice. That's a bunch of really low bio. But Infestors, Armor Tag, 75 HP or whatever it is. 90 HP, excuse me. They're balloons. They're great big balloon. They're big balls of gas. And you need to be so careful with where you have them. So a couple will fall immediately. Oh, he gets another one. No Fungals land. And without these Infestors, it seems really hard. It seems rather hard indeed for Dark to defend this bottom side base. We don't really have we don't have Lurkers just yet. We have Lurker Tech, sure, but the Lurkers are not done. They don't have the upgrades. And yeah, Lurkers are going to be able to deal with this one for the most part. But actually, you know what? Cure's not really... Oh, I love this. We've seen Cyril is actually the one that is the really big proponent of this. It's nice fungal start. Oh, actually, wait, no, there's a fight here. Dark Blinding Cloud on a lot of these tanks. Only 2 at the backside. Abducts there into the army. The tanks have been pretty much invalidated. The missile turret's done now. It's going to maybe knock down a Viper, but Dark is going to try to take the best possible fight that he can. He's running forward. Tanks still firing from above. Bios are going to land. The tanks are now dead. A little bit of Bio still fighting strong. It's still 2-2 versus 1-1. Bit of an anti-timing there for Dark, but it really was the best possible fight he was ever going to take, as now here comes the rally of Cure. Once again, Ghost being added on in, but Cure does have to back up for the moment. As the Viking gets... Oh, that feels bad. But that was a bit of an anti-timing there for Dark. I mean, best possible fight he could have taken, but still. Hitting before his 2-2 was done, and now finally... we have Lurkers on the field. Luckily for Cure, if you're a Cure fan, he's already got Ghosts in the way. Ghosts are rather good against even just the heavy spellcaster style, and it's going to be very good against the Lurkers as well. As now Cure stims forward, trying to find some value, and yeah, his tank count has been reset a little bit. That's a bit obnoxious. But he will gladly say, yeah, I'm just add a bunch of Ghosts. 8 Ghosts are on the map, and that's not the 12 to 16 that you really want. We're going to get there eventually, but not there right now. But Cure now, I mean, Cure's economy is going like gangbusters. He's up 10 workers on the Zerg. He's got more bases than the Zerg. Lurker sieged up on the high ground. The Biles get a little damage on the Medivacs, but not a ton. Snipes go forward on top of so many of these Lurkers now. What are we looking at? It's 6 Lurkers on the field. Snipes go down, and Ravagers on Lurkers. Pretty much anything that Cure decides to tap down, and yeah, he's got to back up. Some of those snipes will get canceled, but 16k resources lost in a game where Dark... as his economy has been sorely tested. Now, of course, we don't have Cure at that perfect position where he wants to be, where he's like, yeah, I got Cloak, I got Ghost, it's going to be great. So these Ghosts, they're a little bit harder to use. They can't just kind of run forward, cloak up, and say, haha, we're sniping everything. That's going to be another dead Lurker. Instead, they are a little bit more vulnerable, but now Snipes going down once again. Biles are going to get dropped, though, and really don't get much of anything. And now Cure rotating left. He says, okay, all your Lurkers are on the left, on the right side. That means I can just stim down everything on the left. Biles, though, they're not going to get much of anything here. The army of Dark is just falling on down. A great attempt to stay alive in this game, but it feels like, oh, that's a big friendly fire tank shot at the end of it. Great attempt to stay alive, and the Lurkers are still there, but Cure's pushing position is just... it feels impossible for the Zerg to really break out of, and that just means that Cure is going to continue to nickel and dime his opponent. Dropping the main base gets a little bit more, but not all that much. And now the Ghosts, they run forward. Looks like a couple of them have died, but really no Lurkers here anymore. Lurkers in the natural, but Queens, they're going to start falling. And at this point, ten Lurkers dead, 6 Ghosts dead, couple Infestors, couple Vipers. I'm somewhat surprised to see Dark, or to see Cure not really trying to put pressure on the bottom side of the map with a drop. He's just really focused on making something happen here. He's going to drop on top of these lurkers. One will fall. Second one, there we go, it's dead as well, but a couple more will return, and hey, burrow speed is a wonderful thing, so we'll be able to deal with that one for the most part, but there we go. Okay, this is what I wanted to see. Yes, Cure's got to drop on the bottom side, actually just a run by on the bottom side, a couple Marines, because he understands that he has really reset Dark's army. So he can go and say, yeah, that's going to be great, I'm going to go, and I'm going to keep representing this threat at the top side of the map, is now lurkers run forward, and that is, by the way, folks, it's a lot of lurkers. It's 11 lurkers. Now it's going to be less than that rather soon, but this army for the moment of Dark is rather scary. It looks like the nuke was dealt with as this Marine run by, not really finding itself on the bottom side of the map just yet, and actually a decent breakout attempt from Dark, sure. But as a wise man once said, look at these supply. And looks like the Marines are not going to get much done on the bottom side. A couple lurkers there are going to have something to say about that one, but Ghost, two shot and drones. Yeah, the nuke didn't land, I don't think, but this Ghost has 13 kills to its name. Actually, maybe the nuke did land. No, it didn't. We didn't see the pop up there. It's now Cure. He's the one that's going to take the gold base. And what is it? Stargazers is such a cool map. It's given us some epic long games, but also in this game that really, I mean, no reasonable person could ever say that Dark should have a shot in this game. The fact that he is making it just somewhat close at all is really absolute bonkers here. And he's going to run forward. He's going to try to take advantage of maybe Cure's army out of position a little bit. Lurkers are going to siege up. A couple tanks will fall. I think we saw a Ghost or two die as well. We got Ghosts coming in from both sides. That's really not what you want. Liberators sieging up as well. Vipers or Hydra's going to try to knock that down, and just Snipes going down on just about everything. It's a last-ditch effort coming in from Dark, but actually, Lurkers are not dead just yet. Oh, actually, there's no anti-air, so this is a last-ditch effort from Dark. It's not going to work out well enough. Cure takes game one. In the upper right here, in the blue, down one. Did a fantastic job trying to fight his way back from a massive deficit for DPG. Dark. His opponent on the bottom left in the red, up one, grinding it out. His teammate, Cure. So, game one, we saw Dark say, yeah, I think you're going to be greedy here, Cure, so I'm going to try to punish it with a roach timing, but because of how the map works, and also really because Cure got the scout off, even more importantly, Dark got nothing done. He committed a lot to that. In fact, he committed more than you would normally do to just kind of a 7 roach timing. And Dark seems to want to do it again. Now, I don't know whether this is part of the Zerg idea, and I've talked to a couple Zergs recently that say, yeah, a game goes past 15 minutes and the Terran is competent, you don't win those games. Once they get up to 16 ghosts and they start to get the map even somewhat split, you do not win those games. Now, there are exceptions. We saw Cyril able to do it against Spirit, but Cure is, I would put Cure as a different level over Spirit. But by the way, this is a different version of the roach timing. We saw there was a 21 drone, I think, speedling roach timing. This is your original 19 drone. You drop a roach war and you drop everything else and you try to make some value happen. But 6 lings across the map right now, and I'm sorry, I for some reason didn't notice that this was going to be a pool first. So SCVs are going to have to be pulled. There is one Marine, and you got to keep this Marine alive. All right, that is the big deal. You got to keep the Marine alive. And the natural command center will be delayed just a little bit. Because that is the goal. Because this is the 1-2 punch. Now, you delay the command center, which means there's less stack defense on the low ground. You deny mining, and then the roaches arrive. And actually, that's the big deal. Look at this. The factory will not be delayed. SCV falls, but factory is not delayed. And that's actually that's the biggest deal right there. Maybe you lose another SCV. No, you won't. A good repair there. But keeping that factory alive is so massive right now. And it seems like, I don't know what Cure saw, but he's got an idea, because he's got a tech lab going down on that factory. So he will have a cyclone on the way. He should have a quick lift on the orbital. Actually, I mean, you don't really even care about that one all that much. But all right, here come the roads. But there's a wall right now. SCVs are going to have to get pulled to keep the wall alive for the moment to buy time for the Cyclone. But you got to be careful. You don't really want to lose too many SCVs with this. So now SCVs, they say, okay, we're going to let things get rather low. We're going to see, what are you targeting down, Dark? And it looks like, actually, Cure just allows the... Interesting. Wow, Cure is super confident about this one. But Cure just allows the reactor to complete. A couple Marines are popping out here. Cyclone gets a good lock on, but not on the Ravagers, just Roach. 6 SCVs have fallen for the moment. Third command center on the way behind this one. Again, Cure is really confident about this hold. Bile's not going to land. 9 SCVs fall. And behind this, of course, Dark is droning. He's got speed on the way as well. It looks like this will be dealt with eventually. Cyclone is really the ultimate solution. But I can't help but feel that this would be easier if maybe we had seen a mass repair to not allow Dark onto the high ground. But 10 workers have fallen. Cure now down about 13 workers, 12 workers, something like that. That's fine. He got his third command center on the way, and he says, well, yeah, any worker damage I take, honestly, it's going to be okay because I'm going to be a triple mule rather soon. I know your third base is slow. I know your speed is slow. You're not really going to be able to punish this all that much, Dark. So at the end of the day, Dark got a lot more damage in game 2 than game 1, and I think it probably paid for itself. But Cure absolutely has an avenue back into this game. As I say that, though, 20 speedlings are on the way. Dark has no intentions of making this game last any longer than it has to. And remember, because the command center was delayed so long, well, ooh, good. Oh, that's actually beautiful. Look at that. Grenade off creep, a queen will die. Now the Cyclone's going to run a little bit farther forward. Scan as well says, okay, that's a lot of lings, and you know speed is not yet done, but he sees how they're chasing. So these Cyclones, they do have to run away. Speed's done in 3, 2, 1. This is going to be a couple dead Cyclones. Remember, folks, Cyclone costs as much as a tank, so Cure overstaying is welcome just a little bit. Getting Queen nice, but he had to just back up, run home then. The Cyclone's dead. Queen's dead as well. And now SCVs, they've just been pulled back into the main base. Yeah, there's no wall in the natural. There are no Hellions here. This is not something that Cure could ever reasonably expect to hold, but he's still building more SCV. Oh, yeah, okay. You can't. That's good. Hellions on the way now. Banshees as well. And this is just not going to find value for Dark. Yes, it denied mining. Sure, fine. It's 22 out of 16 in the natural, or in the main base. But Cure is building 3 SCVs at a time. He's dropping 3 mules at a time. Hellions are on the way. Dark again cut into his worker economy significantly. Now that 11, what was it, 14 worker lead that Dark had, it's now 6. Cure has been able to really put himself in a wonderful macro position in this game. And yeah, Dark's got a lair on the way. We're going to have to see what he wants to go from that one. His Baneling Nest as well. But this is a Baneling Nest. This is almost an anti-Hellbat Baneling Nest. No, not really, actually. It's Baneling Nest is going to time out with a lair. So a little bit more standard. But as we don't see a lot of gas on the way, we can only imagine this will be Ling Bane with slower upgrades than what Cure has. And generally, if you just go pure Ling Bane, you actually want to have better upgrades. You tend to get Evo... you tend to get upgrades in the layer, not the other way around. So now the question is, how is Dark going to once again come back into this game? I think the Roche pressure got enough. I think killing 10 workers, forcing SCVs off the line, killing a couple army units, and then, of course, getting those Cyclones, that was nice. But then building so many Lings, pressuring across the map to no avail, and really it's more the getting the Lings. Pressure, well, you had to pressure at that point, but getting so many extra Lings to try to put pressure on, that has really put Dark behind in this game once again. But he is on 5 gas. And okay, so yeah, it should just be this should be Ling Bane and Hydra Ling Bane is giving the name of the game from Dark at this point. 4th base on the way, but Cure very happy on his 3. And we're going to see, I think, a big timing when his 1-1 completes. Combat Shield around that same time. Because, yes, there is double Evo for Dark now, but he has not had the gas to afford it until right now. So there we go, 1-1 on the way, but Cure's going to have a massive timing where he's probably going to be up in supply, where he's going to have those one-on-one upgrades. He's going to have a couple tanks. He's going to have a massive economy behind it, and Dark is really going to struggle to keep that alive. Remember that the style he's gone for is one that relies not only on having a lot of money. Ling Bane is not the most cost-effective composition, but it relies on having a lot of hatcheries. So Dark at least is doing that. He's got a macro hatch on the way in the main. He gets his 4th base as well. So this is a 5-hatch Zerg, which is useful, right? That will at least allow him to go and have some semblance of the production that he would like. I mean, ideally, he'd have a 5th base as well, even if he's not mining from it. But so 6th hatch. But 5 hatches is going to be good enough for the time being. So he tries to establish his economy, and on 80 workers, I mean, he's finally where he needs to be economically. The question is whether it was fast enough. As Cure on the bottom side, he's got to drop kicking on up here, but it looks like, well, the spores are going to reburrow, but there we go. One spore is just going to die. Second one, well, it doesn't really matter. Cure rotates left side. And there are plenty of links to defend this one. And with Banelings, well, good target fire there from Cure. He gets a couple Banes, but he will find it back his way on out. As 10 Hydras are on the way, Queens rotate to the edge of Creep, or maybe even off of it. If Cure can drag that one off, but Medevac will fall. And this didn't get a lot done from Cure. It opened up maybe an avenue later on, of course, with that spore going down. But this is the real push coming in from Cure. He's up in supply. He's up in upgrades. He does not actually... he's got 3 tanks, but I don't really see it with the army at the moment. And Dark is not going to be allowed to keep this 5th base, by the way. That is not going to happen whatsoever. So yeah, that's just canceled. Kira doesn't even really feel the need to bother too much with killing off the worker, but now we can get active on the map. Now the creep spread start to go down to that Banshee here that got nothing done is going to finally go down, but the creep spread's starting to fall. Kira got a fantastic pushing position into this 4th base. But 1-1 is now done for Dark. He's been able to buy it that amount of time. He started to equalize supply just a little bit. Lings and Banes setting up us around here. Hydras as well from every side. Tank shots on top of these Queens, but on the high ground, they will go. Target fire on top of the Banes. Curious got a micro backwards. How many Banes do we have? It looks like 4 are remaining, but the tanks are going to start to fall here. That being said, there's always 2 fights. Now the Banelings are mostly dead. Cured, going to knock down some of these Queens as they do rotate off creep, but the Banelings actually caught behind the Hydras right now. Secure feeling rather safe to run forward. And that was as good of a fight as Dark could really have taken, but the Marines sitting on the edge of the creep are spooky indeed. Behind this, of course, Cure 4th base on the way, 2-2 on the way. Bit delayed, though. He would have liked to have that faster than he did. His army was a little bit delayed, and he was a little bit slow in starting those 2-2 upgrades up. So he's not going to have nearly the same timing lead in 2-2, or actually he's not even going to have really much of a timing lead in 2-2 versus 1-1, it doesn't look like. Dark now, 5th base on the way, 11 o'clock position. And here again with that supply lead, with tank upgrades on the way as well. 3 additional barracks to go up to 8 with the 4th base. And again, Kira's army, or Kira's economy, is in a wonderful position now, pushing from two sides at the same time. Bailey's actually not here just yet, just morphing, and Kira's aware of that. So he stims forward, tries to pick something off, does not. What's he got on the bottom side, though? Looks like that was cleaned up with, well, some prejudice, but even still, here comes the army of Kira. He's got more Marines, he's got tanks on that awkward position where you got to go high ground, low ground, high ground to get on top of it. And +2 attack just about done. Hydra speed done as well, so at least they can get on top of things just a little bit more. But Kira says, okay, well, I've got that position, but what if I just drop into the main base? There's 1 spore, but really, 1 spore is not enough to force this out, even because the spore is just not really there. So triple drop into the main base. As Cure maxes out, he's looking for the trades, runs forward, tries to find what he can. Marines will fall, or Lings will fall, certainly. They're going to try to deal with this one. These Queens are just not enough. Good target fire. Oh my goodness, the target fire there from Cure, but at the end of the day, he will lose the medevac. He will lose 8 Marines, but even still, that target fire from Cure. Snap decision was fantastic. We're starting to see Cure look like maybe getting closer to that GSL Season 1 form from last season, but again, Dark is doing such a fantastic job of defending here. His 5th base not really under pressure. 4th base only nominally so. Now he's going to take the rich. Now he's going to take the rich gas base. There's not been a lot of economic damage that Dark has taken over the course of this game. I mean, yes, there was the economic damage that he inflicted upon himself, but not the economic damage that Cure's been able to inflict upon him. As a big run by on the other side. The wall will go down. Cure a little bit supply blocked here, but that's going to be fine. He can rebuild that one rather easily on the north side once again. Bailey's lanes, they come spilling on forward here. All right, so Hydra's going to knock down. Actually, this can be dead medevac. Caught between a rock and a hard place. The second medevac falls because Cure was, of course, distracted by the attempted run by into his base. And I mean, resources lost is going to tell one. Resources lost not even as bad as I thought it was. Oh, onto the high ground. Tanks there going for the ride of their lives. Parasitic bomb as well because Hive is now up. It's only 2-2 here. 3-3 only halfway done. Dark looking to break this position. Tanks are going to siege up once again. Banelin's getting targeted down though. 3 tanks, 2 tanks. They still remain. And now here comes the push from Cure. Dark. That was Really nice of him, but now it's a bit of a concave. Cure owns the high ground. Banelings are just not really part of this army. 3 more will get canceled. Target fire, or just some really good splits from Cure right there. There we go. So finally feels like Dark. He has been forced to get, or he's been forced to give up position on top of this 4th base. Vipers run in, but look at those blinding clouds. The Marines can just not take the fights right now. These Marines are so damn overstimmed. They gotta run back. Lynx and Hydras can fight them so easily right now. A Baneling connection as well. Cure he thought he'd found the inside track, but unfortunately that was just inside track to death and destruction. Marines on the other side of the map. Well, yeah, Dark's gonna deal with that one as well. Dark building that bank up. His 3-3 is on the way. Lurkers as well. He's got every base he can, well, maybe one more. Pretty much every base he can reasonably be expected to take. Only about a 3,000 resources less differential. This is an incredible comeback coming in from Dark. I mean, remember, he went for the Roach Bush. It got enough, sure. It got a decent amount. But building those lings out, building like 30 lings afterwards to no avail, that set his economy back rather significantly. And then this pressure that Cure's been trying to put on, I mean, he's had some big timing, some big upgrade timings. They just really wasn't able to make much happen. There's another one happening right now. Is 3-3 is now complete. 2-2 is, well, 3-3 is not yet done for Dark. Upper left base will die as well. Nice drop. Cure finally finding some of the value that he's looking for. And Ghosts are on the way, folks. Strap in, buckle in. We got another long game. You know, I said maybe, just maybe, I was going to be done before 2 in the morning. We're going to have these long, epic ZVTs. I don't think that's the case anymore, which I'm not exactly complaining. I mean, maybe I'm complaining a little bit. Bale likes his sleep, but I'm not really complaining about all that much. Is how Lingbane on the right side trying to find something, but it's off creep. You don't really chase that down all that much. Dark got a bit of run by, or a bit of a lurker by, a little bit of a burrow by onto the 3rd base of Cure. Tank's going to siege up on some of this, but the Vipers are here. We need to see some snipes. Good abduct there on another tank, but it looks like actually, yeah, good job there. A Lurker and a Viper get sniped on down. SCVs, well, going to try to find something. Banelings as well. Looks like Cure on the right side is able to deal with those. He has his Marines dealt with, but this run by for the most part, yeah, the supply depots go down and the gas goes down, but for the most part, Cure is going to be able to deal with that one. Is now Dark now has, he's got the map vertically split or horizontally split. He's got every base that he can reasonably be expected to take on his side of the map. On 87 workers, he's starting to build a massive bank sitting here. Time and a half. 1.5 times the economy of Dark and Minerals. A decent gas count as well. 3-3 done. And now it's actually really interesting. He went 3-3 melee before +1 ranged. And with as heavy of a Lurker and a Viper and a Hydra count, you would think he would have more. But anyways, he got this position. This base allows him to have a really nice sieged up position here, but a couple queens will fall. That's nice, and it looks like all 3 will go down. Is now run away. Cure, he leaves a couple Marauders behind, and they do soak some Banes, or probably a couple Marines actually. +3 just about done. Nidus on the way. Double Spire on the way. Dark has his next tech transition up, and unlike that Stargazers map we saw Cyril play Spirit, it feels like Dark's economy is in him. He doesn't have a bank necessarily, but it feels like his economy is in absolutely the position it needs to be to move into a Broodlord transition. He's nursing that 3-4K resources loss differential, which 17 minutes in, given the game state that this has been, you take that as a Zerg every time, twice on Sundays. And, well, luckily for them, it is on Sunday. So drop north side from here, just a couple Marines, and I think he wants to, well, I guess I would say that, but he is building more Marines. I was gonna say, I think he wants to lose those Marines in favor of more tanks and Liberators and Ghosts. But drop on the north side, we got a Nidus on the bottom side. It's not even a Nidus into anywhere in particular. It's just going to allow Dark to go and, well, reinforce as well as he can. As we're gonna see, that drop's not gonna get much. Nuke going down though, maybe, yeah, okay, no. Dark is aware of what's happening. We're gonna see the reburrow on the spores on the Lurker, so that's not gonna get much. And we've talked about how many bases that Dark has, how he has taken pretty much every base on the map that he can reasonably be expected to take. What I haven't talked about is just how damn good this creep spread is. When the creep spread of the Zerg is outside of the Terran's 3rd, that is normally a marker of, wow, this Terran is dead. Now, it's a little bit different as we do go late game. Is Lynx and Hydra's going to find this base as it tries to land, and that is going to be a bit of a problem there. Hydras are, well, they only got +1, so it's going to take a while to knock this down. As I think we have building armor as well. Yeah, we do. So This base is not gonna, it's not gonna die anytime soon enough. And Cure, he's got his, what is this? He's got a 6 base on the way. But the thing I really do like actually coming in from Dark is he's taking both horizontal bases. He's taking his base and he's taking his opponent's base, which now means that if he mines out from both, and we do need to see aggressive mining. I want to see 24 drones on those horizontal bases. Because eventually the Terran may be able to put themselves in a position where they take it back. But for the moment, you want to mine out as much as you can. 16 workers on minerals, 6 workers on gas. Just really find that value. Really steal the money from your opponent. Dark's kind of doing that, but it's like 4 or 5 out as Ling's Banes come rolling on in. But there are a ton of Ghosts and Liberators and tanks. This is not an easy position for Dark to push on into, as we got a nuke coming down on this base as well. 6 drones at it. Is Dark aware that this is where the nuke is? He's actually rather slow on the pull, so that Ghost is going to get, there we go, 6 workers and damage on the hatch. So that's actually, it's what happens in my games, but it's not what you expect to see in pro play. They're really good at finding those ghost blips. But Terrans also, they found some really nice spots. You put them on where all the larva is, and that's really hard to see. There's some really nice spots to drop the nuke dot that make it really hard for Zerg to find out. We're here on the bottom side again. He's gonna deal with the Nidus, and well, that Nidus really hasn't done much of anything anyway. That's just Dark's flexing on him, saying, "Look how much gas I have. It's fine. Don't worry about it." But Cure is starting to develop into this late game army that is just so hard for Zerg to deal with. He's got +2 mech attack on the way, +2 mech armor on the way. He's adding in Thors to this composition. Snipes going down on a bunch of these overseers. I actually really love this from Dark. With a gas count that he has, adding on those overseers means personal cloaking is not really going to be that invisibility equals invincibility idea that it often is, where you have one or two overseers, they get sniped down really quickly, and suddenly the ghosts are just untouchable. When we're looking at 12 overseers, it takes a lot more to knock that one on down. But with more Thors on the way, eventually we're going to have 3/3 Thor Ghost. And, I mean, that is just a terrifying composition. That is just a horrifying composition. Is a fungal... Oh, wait, no, Ghost. Okay, yeah, the nuke is going to get canceled. Well done. Lurkers run forward, and they're just going to get sniped on down. That's a little bit of an audacious push there as Ghosts run forward. They're not cloaked. And a fungal's going to land on a couple things. It reminds you of fungals on. Fungals. Okay. No snipes on the infestors. But fungals on SCVs to kill them off reminds you of the Hiva Innovation game from, what was it, 2012 from Pro League, back when Hiva was a player and when Innovation was just so good. He had a Bird Infestor hit squad where he just... No, those were infested Terrans, I think, that he just spewed over a base. I think I could have sworn that there was a famous Terran hit squad to kill off a bunch of SCVs, or a fungal hit squad to kill off a bunch of SCVs. Liberator sieging up on the high ground, so yeah, it's not going to be much of a problem here for Cure, and he's been able to establish his 6th base. It's going to be really hard for the Zerg to break this one right now, and Cure's bank is starting to thank him for it just a little bit. Push on the left side as well. Nukes going down, forcing the army of Dark to reposition, but not too far. He's going to run back just a little bit, but this buys room now for the tanks to go forward. Not too far forward, of course. Bailey's come rolling in. Is this the position where Cure is a little bit distracted? Bailey's they come rolling in, but the orbital is not, or the planetary is not dead just yet. You add in the structure upgrades, and that's going to be really nice. Ghost going to knock down a base. It looks like Cure may lose this one. The repairs are going to be good, but not good enough. So the planetary does fall, but there's going to be a dead base here, and there's another command center right now. So Cure's going to be able to maybe take the bottom right as he takes this base away from his opponent. In the grand sequence of things, both players lose a base. Cure loses more workers, but he has mules, so it doesn't really matter so long as he can mine from gas for the most part. He's sitting on, what is this? Where's the orbital count? He's sitting on 6 orbitals. Yeah, he has enough mules. He's going to kill off 2 bases of Dark, but meanwhile, Dark, his pressure on the bottom side is... well, it's actually only 1 lurker. Scovel Hydra's only 1 lurker. It doesn't really represent a ton of threat. It's annoying, sure, and Cure will have to deal with it eventually, and he steamrolls on over with a bunch of ghosts. He will be able to do so. But for the most part, this is not really all of you lose those SCVs. Maybe that is going to be worthwhile. Good target fire here from Dark. He's going to line up all the SCVs down. The biostem is on top of the lurker. Lurker is dead. Hydra's dead as well. 25 SCVs dead. But again, it doesn't really matter because mules are a powerful thing indeed. In fact, one can make the argument that Cure with the bank the way he is, with as many orbitals as he has, with as many bases as he has, he wants to lose those SCVs. He wants to stay on maybe 47, below 50, and to start to build up to 153 army supply. But actually, okay, look at this. We got Hellbats as well. These late game Hellbats with +3 with Blue Flame. Do we have Blue Flame? Yes, we do. With Blue Flame, with Infernal Preigniter, they one-shot Lings, and Lings are actually 3/3 Lings with Adrenal. They actually deal with a lot of this late game. They don't deal with like Ghost super well, but they are actually a really nice answer to the Thors. So adding those Hellbats on top of things, it just really invalidates that component of the Zerg plays. I don't know that you're going to be able to take this base Cure. But I don't know the Dark's gonna be able to take the upper left base as well. So it's kind of an interesting. We had a horizontal map split, but it seems like Cure is now looking to force a vertical map split, which is kind of fun. Cure has forgotten his +3 mech armor though, and he certainly can't afford that right now as Ling's Banes come rolling into this planetary. It's not as important of a base as it once was. Ghost here cloaked out, trying to deal with things, and do they have enough? No, maybe. Yes, they do, actually. Yeah, they do. That base is going to stay alive. There needs to be repair, but Mule gets dropped, so the planetary stays alive. Yeah, 9 SCVs fall, but you build 5. You can build how many SCVs at a time? 5. You can build 12 SCVs at a time if you want to, Cure, but 5 SCVs is going to be good enough because he wants to only stay at that 43, 45 worker count. There's more Liberators on the way, more Hellbats on the way. But now we got the next level of tech. 16 Broodlords entering the field versus 8 Thors and 16 Ghosts. This is not an easy army for Dark to fight with. Yeah, he's mining more minerals, sure, but that's not gonna last all that long. We just gotta wait for the Mule Hammer, and it's only 2,000 minerals. I mean, this is really not a lot. I love the Changelings though. It gives Dark so much fair warning about where the army is. Broodlords are gonna sieging forward. A couple Corruptors here as well. What do we have? It's 4 Corruptors. Not really a lot of an anti-air force, but it does make it a little bit harder. Now Ghosts are going to snipe down a lot of these Overseers. Thors run forward. Broodlords, they get a little bit, but with the Hellbats here, the Broodlings don't really represent all that much, as we will see one orbital will fall eventually. Looks like Cure is actually just kind of giving up this position. He says, honestly, there are only 4 mineral patches here. There's not a lot of money. I'm just going to run through the middle of the map. I'm going to knock a lot of your bases down. I'm just going to force a vertical split. And I really don't hate that. You don't want to. He may not feel that he just doesn't have. He may feel he just doesn't have quite enough to deal with the Thor count, or to deal with the Broodlord count. Because that is 16 Broodlords with 2/2 and 3/3 on the Broodlings. I mean, that is spooky indeed. So he says, okay, well, I'm just gonna run and I'm gonna force your army to be really not all that mobile, because that is the truth of a Broodlord army. 16 Broodlords going bottom right to top left just takes forever and a day. So Dark now starting to lose some more bases. And remember, as long as Cure doesn't lose his orbitals, losing bases for a Zerg is more impactful, because you not only lose mining, you lose the ability to produce as well. So Dark now, this is a true vertical split. It's kind of funny as we change the axis of focus on the map right now. Not something you see all that often, but Hellbats and Thor's bottom side, they dealt with a Ling run by as well. Hellbats are going to run forward, and they can actually, funnily enough, they can generally deal with this. There we go. Good neural there. And that is the ultimate answer to Thors. Thors are pretty great against everything. They're pretty fantastic against everything, but they're not good against themselves. They're not good if they can't fight. So that's what you're going to look to do, and that is really the big benefit of the 14 infestors we have on the map right now. He looked to neural all the Thors, and he's saying, well, you can't fight my Broodlords if you don't have an army to fight with. So Cure taking the upper left bases, which is kind of interesting. So Dark is mined from these bases, absolutely. But the bases that, for the most part, that Cure is taking on the bottom side, or that Dark is now taking from Cure on the bottom side, are bases that Dark has, or that Cure has muled from. So in the balance of power here, Cure will mine, if we just kind of keep alternating back and forth, and they both kind of take the same bases, Cure will mine more out of the map than Dark will, because he can drop ludicrous amounts of mules. We don't really see that at the moment. But he can drop ludicrous amounts of mules on the map at any given time. That really does suck a lot of minerals out of the map at any given time. But now Broodlords are going to run forward, and we're at 27 Broodlords. You can talk all you want about how good Thors are and how good Ghosts are. 27 Broods are insane amounts of damage. Their burst may even be enough to deal with all these Thors. That being said, Cure on the other side of the map here says, oh, I don't really care about that. You're on the bottom side. Every time you move bottom and put pressure on my bases, my great big waddling mech army is actually more mobile than yours is. But now Liberators are going to siege up. Ghosts running forward. They got to be careful. And Hellbats, really, their job is just to eat up so many of these Broodling shots. Now Thor in high impact payload mode, looking for what they can. Fungals, though, that's going to keep them in place. Now, it got to be noted here, neither Dark nor Cure really have the bank for another army. Good Fungals on top of a couple Thors, but oh, there we go. Look at those Fungals. That's going to go down. EMP is on top of this army as well. Dark says this is his fight. Fungals just on top of everything but the Thors. They're firing strong. Only 22 Broodlords remain, but the Thors, now they're the ones that are falling on down. Cure thought he had the opportunity. Thors and Ghosts against Broodlords. It's a story that has been told to you by many people. It's told. Broodlords are not good. Well, if you hit your spells like that one, it is going to be good indeed. Both players remaxing. Both players' banks are now gone. But Dark, he maintains his Broodlord composition. He's got the gas to remake. He's got Infestors on the way. And, Cure does not. Cure absolutely does not here. He is in a whole spell of trouble. This one low Broodlord to dealing with the Hellbat harass. You love to see it. But folks, in just about 30 minutes, it's starting to look like we're going to have a tied up series here. I don't know how Cure is ever going to be able to rebuild his army. Yeah, he's got Mulehammer and he's mining more right now, but it's a 60 army supply lead, and it costs so much to build the type of army that Cure has to make to deal with this. The one saving grace, of course, from Cure is the fact that, well, this army from Dark is slow as hell. It's going to take him a long time to clean up the bases of Cure. Shout out to the days when CBT was a rather quick matchup because it was often decided in the mid game with pushes. But Ghosts have been too powerful in the late game, and Zergs have gotten too good at holding off on this, holding off mid-game pushes. So, and Go is late. We split the maps, and when we have maps like Day to Sea, those are maps that are, they got tons of bases. Now Broodlords on the bottom side, knocking down a planetary that really is more of a space holding position. Anyways, that being said, losing the Ghost Academy is a lot spookier. Much spookier. Although we don't even really see Cure rebuilding Ghosts for the most part. It's just all Thor, Hellbat. He's getting +1 air attack. I guess it's for the Liberators. Maybe there's a play he builds a bunch of Liberators and splashes everything down. That would be crazy, but Fungals would punish that one super duper hard. Once again, bit of a counterattack here from Cure. With you know how in dire straits he's building Marines, and Marines are just not good at this stage of the game whatsoever. It's kind of funny with how this game has gone. I mean, the creep spread is not nearly as good for Dark as it once was before. But on the bottom right, like Dark's main base is really feels like it's the bottom right at this point. Oh, there we go. Fungal neural EMP. Now the Ghosts, they have a little bit of energy left. You do need a double EMP, but even still, nice move there from Dark, just knocking more things down. This is actually dropping the natural. Gonna get a hatch. More importantly, technically he could get the Spire, and I didn't even get the Spire anyways. I don't know if there are any creep tumors. This might bleed out. Dropping on the bottom side, but 3 Broodlords defensively will deal with this one for the most part. But these Spires are going to start to bleed out unless we see Dark, well, drop creep on that or respread creep. I don't really know. That's a dead drop. But Kira's been able to remax. I didn't think he was going to be able to do so. Now he doesn't have a bank. Mineral gas count is much lower. But he's maxed out again. He's sitting on 10 Thors, 9 Ghosts, 1 Viking. Why the hell not? A couple Hellbats. This, ironically, or not ironically, but funnily enough, this army that he's built, especially as he clears out the last Thors in production, the last Liberators in production, this army that he has built is better at dealing with Dark's army than the previous one. That being said, though, Dark is on 4,500 resources, 4,500 minerals, 6,000 gas. He has an army to remax. He has the ability to make something happen. But I mean, that being said, Dark does have a hive. He's just rebuilding the lair somewhere else. The Spires are starting to bleed out, but that is a long and slow process. Of course, it can always be sped up by, oh, nice job there. We will see one Viper go down. It can always be sped up by sticking a little bit of the army of Cure into the natural of Dark. And it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. So Cure says, you know what? I'm on the other side of the map. Let's go. Let's knock down your tech here just a little bit. You do want to kill the Spire. That actually is the big deal. But there's another greater Spire on the way. So Dark understands the situation that he is in. He says, yep, I got to cancel that. Or I got to rebuild that. That's fine. He already has a Spire earlier. But oh man, this game is so technical. And we're still only 3,000 resources loss differential, which does favor Cure. If we go to fully mined out, it actually does kind of favor Cure a little bit. I think he's taken more out of the map than Dark has. Because again, he's kind of taken bases that Dark has had, but he muled out of the bases that Dark has taken from him. So, point being, here's another fight kicking off. How good is our spellcasting going to be here from Dark? Let's see. There we go. Blinding Clouds to start. Broodlords running forward. Thor's a great concave. Blinding Clouds not really getting what they want for now, but Thor's, they're not all firing. Snipes going down. This fight is going so much better there for Cure at the moment. Only 10 Broodlords remain. Snipes go down. The Fungals are going to be nice. More and more Broodlings, they go down, but they're Hellbats here. Cure, he finds himself a supply lead. Dark, what does he spend his bank on? And more importantly, how much larva does he have? 35 larva. Okay. 11 more Broodlords on the way. He says, yep, it's Broodlord Infestor. That's how I have to win this game in the late game. 10 more Corruptors on the way to fuel that Broodlord Infestor army, but that is not the rest of his bank. He's still got more where that has come from, as now the Infestors run forward. Good scan. So now Cure knows where the Infestors are. Now, we only have 9 Ghosts. He is able to rebuild them right now. Good Neural there on top of that one. Thor, Broodlords from the high ground, but oh, that's a lot of Neurals there. Not enough Ghosts for now. All the Thors are falling, but Dark's army falling even still. The Infestors, they're now falling. Yeah, their more Broodlords are on the way. Dark only on 13 workers. He does not really have enough to defend this. He will knock down, it looks like, the rest of the Thors. So too many Broodlords right there. Is this going to be enough? Cure. Yeah, no, I think this should be, despite everything, despite the supply differential right now, Cure losing all of these Thors, he's actually not, well, okay, he's mining now, but for a moment he was really not mining. So more Hellbats, more Marauders, more Ghosts on the way. How many Thors are we at? We're at 5. 4 Thors and 7 hatches ago. Our forefathers brought forth a new country, or our Zerg fathers? Anyway, pushing through the middle of the map. Cure trying to pull a Maru in this game. I mean, this game is starting to feel reminiscent of the Nautilus 2 game that Maru played, where it's like, oh man, you're so far behind, but you're able to take one extra base, you're able to mule hammer something out, and it works out for you at the end of the day. Dark, he spent his bank. This is the last army that he will have in this game. There's just not enough money, I don't think, on the map anymore for there to be another one. I mean, there's actually, that's a fairly full base bottom right. It's a fairly full base bottom right, but this resource loss differential is starting to open up just a little bit more. I wish I could see resources mined. We don't have the right extension mod for it. The Home Story Cup extension mod that Ali made allows you to see a plot of total resources mined. That's so useful in a game like this, but we don't really get to see it. But now, okay. Final army compositions, effectively. What do we have in this game? 21 Broodlords, so not quite as high as it was earlier. Only 5 Thors, though, not 10. 15 Ghosts on the field. That's a really nice thing. It means you can maybe deal with the Infestors a little bit more, and there are less Infestors. It's only 8 as the army of Cure runs forward. What's that in Dark's main base? Yeah, it's just Marines and Hellbats. You maybe want them, but it's not super necessary to the idea of this game. And they're better served maybe knocking down the Hive, knocking down Tech. Because, folks, there's only one Hive. Yes, there's a second layer. But there's only one Hive, and Dark will be sorely pressed to buy another one. Secure. Actually, he's out of gas, but he does have access. I don't think it's mined out. No, actually, never mind. It is. Do we have any gases? Okay, so a little bit of gas remaining on this base. Cure, he is almost fully mined out. On the bases that he can take, he's fully mined out. Dark does have this base in the bottom right that is actually really healthy. It's actually doing really well for itself, and that is just such a wonderful position for Dark to be in. It's one of those things where I kind of had this feeling that Cure had mined more, but that it just appears to not be the case, because we look at resource loss and we say, well, actually, you know, Cure has lost 11,000 less minerals and about the same amount of gas. But there is more, there's just more minerals possible in the game that Dark will be able to put into his bank. Because there's if Cure takes the bottom right base, that means the game is over. There's really a lot smaller position that Dark has to defend as well. He's really only got these core 3. And yeah, there's a little bit of, looks like, okay, where are we at from a minerals perspective? We got this base that has 700, call it, 850, 1,000, 1,600, and really it's this base. Okay, so Cure would love to take this base. Dark is gonna take this base though, and Cure really he's out. He's got the minerals at this base, and that really is just about it. Enough for a remax, enough to build a little bit more of a mineral bank, but really he's hurting for gas at the moment. And how many broodlords are we at right now? 30 broodlords. This is a fight that both Dark and Cure can take. It really does come down to execution. As now we're going to see the spores firing. We're getting a little bit of damage. Now broodlords go down. Good fungals here to start. But now really it is, oh, fungals go down on top of everything. Blinding clouds as well. This is the army. This is the fight that Dark has been looking for. Look at that supply fall. Curie went through that choke. The last fight he won, it was because his Thors were in an arc. This is not the arc. Oh, he loses so many ghosts and hellbats. And yeah, SCVs as well, but it really is all about the army here going down. The continuous stream of the swarm of broodlords running on forward. Now it's 170 army supply. Cure, he's building more Thors. He needs more Thors. He needs more ghosts, and more importantly, he needs to attack from a different angle. He needs to attack from a better angle, because that was not it, folks. That was not what you were looking for. The fungals, the blinding clouds, that army was, the front line of that army just died. It fell down. It knocked down. It's now Dark. More broodlords are on the way. He's setting himself up to take that last base that is pretty much uncontested. Cure, he's got what? What has he got? 300, 250, so 550, 850. Can't even click on that mineral patch. Oh, that's because it's gone. There we go. About 1,000 minerals in that patch. 1,100 minerals remaining for Cure. A lot more for Dark. I mean, this is just a free base here. 1,000 minerals in that clump alone. If this game goes to the point where Cure is totally mined out and Dark still has that corner right base that Cure just never took any money from, because that's the difference, right? Every base, pretty much every outlying base outside of this is a base that Cure and Dark have both sat money from. But Cure was never really successful in knocking down the bottom right base. So that is where the resources gathered differential truly is. So if Cure just allows Dark to get away with that, which I don't know how you push into this, if that happens, this game will be Dark's in a really fantastic late game ZVT. But Cure's army, remember, Dark, this army that he has, he's not going to be able to really reproduce it all that well. We're looking at 30, we're looking at almost 40 brutes, right? That is, I don't even want to do the math on how much money that costs. It is so damn expensive. It is so damn expensive. Look at that, nothing on the production tab. Oh, okay, there's a little bit more minerals at this base, actually. It's got 700 minerals in it. That is actually a really valuable mineral patch that Cure is mining from. That kind of changes the calculus just a little bit. How much does this have? We can't click on it. 20 minerals in the main base there. I mean, it's something. And folks, I would like to remind you this started with a 7 roach timing. That Cure could have held a lot better than it did, but oh, there we go. Fungals go down, EMPs as well. Vipers, blinding clouds on top of everything. This army from Cure is just not fighting right here. Broodlords rain in hellfire, but blinding clouds, they only last so long. Looks like all the infestors are EMP'd. And now let's take a look at things. 11 Thors remain, 28 broods. The Broodlords, they continue to fall. Hellbats sweeping away so many of these broodlings. Look at the concave here coming in from Cure. 6 Thors remain, 18 broods, 17, 16. But remember, here is the problem. The spellcasters have all been EMP'd away. It really is just Thor versus Broodlord right now. And the Hellbats in good position, knocking down the Broodlings. And now we're only at 10 Broodlords, 5 Thors. This is the fight. If there ever was a fight, this is the one that Cure has been looking for, but he cannot wait. He cannot rest. Fungal drops on top of everything. Broodlords continue to run forwards. The Broodlords are out of range, and the Thors, they're so damn low, but the Spines are not knocking them down just yet. Good EMP there. Another Infestor does not hit. This base is going to go down, but really it's a positioning thing. That is not the base that is important. It's the base in the bottom right. But Dark, he's lost he's lost 1 mining base and 1 positioning base. Cure, what's he doing though? He's backing up. I'm not sure that he can afford to do that. He does not. He's so little mineral income at the moment. I think he only has that 1 mineral patch. He's mined out everywhere else. So now SCVs are getting pulled here for the not even for the repair. He doesn't have the money for it. Just to serve as a bit more of a buffer for the Broodlords. Now again going forward. EMP is on top of the army, but the fungal though on top of everything there. That may just do it here, folks. Broodlords continue rolling on forward. Blinding Cloud as well. The Thors are so damn low. Oh, Dark, you've done it here. You maestro. There's just not enough in the army of Cure anymore in 45 minutes. Cure does not grind it out. Dark takes the game. Oh, what a treat that was. We're going to game 3. In the bottom right, in the blue, taking a marathon. Game 2, it's Dark. In the upper left, in the red, tied up at 1 apiece. Can he pull ahead? It's Cure. All right, now that my window's open, as it's getting a little less toasty, we're good to go. It's kind of crazy though. That game. Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that. There's just a. That's not an alliance symbol. That's just a random wolf head. Nice. Very cool. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how we saw Dark kind of learn from his mistakes, because that game was really starting to feel like Maru versus Dark game 3. Right, that game was really starting to feel like the game in the GSL, where Mario got in a situation where Cure was, where it's like, okay, this is so bad, but he starts fighting his way back, and Mass Thor Hellbat Ghost is so powerful, except Dark didn't let him get away with it. And really the big difference there, Dark found the one base that had not been contested by both sides, that Cure had not dropped a Mule Hammer on. And that barely kept him alive, and while Dark kept losing fights, he kept doing well enough, and he kept maybe winning some fight. There were a couple fights that Cure took that were really, really from a bad position. But now I'm really curious. Do we once again go... Do we once again go split map? Does Cure have pressure on the mine? Now, we do have to point out that Dark has not gone for roach timing on this map. And that may be because he doesn't think it's as good as, say, on Stargazers, which just kind of invites greed, or maybe on Data C, although Data C by itself doesn't really strike me as a roach timing map. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a tempo idea of Dark saying, I really don't want to play. I really don't want to play late game. But the funny thing is, often if you go for timing builds like that, it can often mean that you will go late. Because if it doesn't, it just delays all the timings. But we talk about, okay, maybe we don't go late game 3 games in a row. Well, Cure, at least he's opening the door for that one. This will be a 2-on-1 coming out of the Dragon Phoenix Terran player, and if Dark thinks this is a map to be greedy on, maybe that's going to work out. I don't know. Now, when we talk about Cosmic Sapphire is a really cool map because it's a symmetrical map that does not have an even number of bases. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily relevant in this game, but only one player can take the gold. All right. There is that situation where there's the gold base down here. There are rich gas bases up here. Like, okay, yeah, that is 1 apiece. That is for 1 player apiece. But which do you value more? Do you value rich gas? If you're playing mech, probably that. Do you value rich minerals? Don't know. But certainly for right now, here we go. Onto the map. Double drop. Cure. That's supposed to be 16 Marines. I know you want to hit your timing, bud, but you're a Marine short there, though. Hopefully it's... oh, no. It's actually 2 Marine short. Because there's a Reaper. He got a Reaper. Yeah, that's a Marine short right there. Now there's a Roach Warren on the way for Dark to try to deal with this one, but he's supply blocked right now. 16 Lings, 8 Queens. As Stim finishes on up here. 8 Queens are enough. 16 Lings, not really, but 10 more are on the way, and that's getting a little bit closer. And here's the big deal. Dark delayed his 4th hatch. That is, you want to cancel the 4th hatch with a 2-1-1 as Cure, but because Dark has delayed that, I mean, what, are you supposed to push into 10 Queens? Or what is it, 8 Queens? You're supposed to push into this? I mean, it's just really, unless they're off creep, it seems really, really hard. Although that being said, these Queens at the 3rd base did provide an opportunity maybe for Cure to move into the main base. Because if you know that there are this many Queens, 9 Queens on the map, and most of them are at the front, you know there's not a lot of defense in the main. But for now, this 2-on-1 accomplishes nothing. That's actually pretty cool. Look at this double wall here from Cure. He says, I will not get run by it. I will not get ran by. I will not get banely busted through this. That is just not allowed. That will not happen. So, at the very least, a double layer wall is kind of cool. There's another Overlord will fall. +1 is just about done. Combat shields are done. This is the really powerful timing from Cure. Yeah, 2-on-1, you want to get something done early. But when you have your upgrades kick in, when you have combat shields done, so you add in an additional 20% HP on that army, you got the tanks as well. That's when, this is the scariest, really the scariest position for Dark to be, but there we go. Biles are going to go down. One tank's dead immediately, and Medevac takes a little bit of HP as well, but here we go. Cure stims forward, knocks a Ravager down. Tank, though, it's not really, Biles are going to land. Yeah, tank is now dead. Good concave from the Queens, but Queens don't add a lot of DPS, so we do need to add more Roaches. More Lings are on the way, 10 at a time. And this is just not going to work, but into the main base they will go. Ling's already rotating on over. They're speedy boys, and they're going to be able to at least provide a bit of a welcoming party as the Roaches there just a little bit slower. They rotate not quite as quickly, but there are a couple Roaches popping on now. Good target fire here from Cure, knocking down all the Lings. Now the Roaches will fall. 1 falls, 2, make it 3, targeting them all down, make it 4, and now there's the Zerg. He's at his main course. Got a couple drones on the Barbie. Well, I guess they're fricasseed. Couple drones getting fricasseed will provide for a nice morsel, but again, I don't think Dark is in. Well, actually, let me think about that. Let's rephrase that a little bit, because with a couple additional barracks on the way, Cure his +1 armor again. It's only single eBay at the moment, but he's got his 3rd base on the way, and Dark is only on 3 hatch. Not really pulling ahead in supply all that much. Only on 58 workers. I mean, this is really not. It's a playable position, certainly, but it's really not the most incredible position here for Dark, because he has to pull his drones once again. A little bit more or less mining time. One thing I do want to point out, though, really nice. This is a really nice creep spread from Dark, despite how everything has been going, despite all the pressure that he has undertaken. Dark has a really nice creep spread. And now +2 here, +1 armor on the way. So he's transitioning into Lingbane Roach Ravager. So this is not his final form. He's not going to stay. Roach is not going to stay Quick Lurk or something like that, which he tried in game 1. It didn't work. It allowed him to drag the game out for forever, but it didn't work. He didn't win the game. Not really what we got going here. Is now Biles going to go down, but not really a whole hell of a lot. I do. Now that Cure's got his 3rd base, okay, he does have a 2nd eBay, but being a little bit slow on that one. He's pulling it beyond. He's very much pulling it beyond here. Man, look at this. Cure is equal in army supply with a Roach Boy, and yeah, sure. Yes, there's a hive on the way. Yes, Dark has committed to Lingbane, and he's got some Lings, but he doesn't have that just yet. I mean, it is just pure Roach Ravager on the map right now, and Cure's sitting here with his 1-1 with equal supply. It feels a little spooky, and really we can blame the fact that Dark's 4th base was just so low, or excuse me, so slow. But Infestors are now on the way, and this is just something that Dark has always done more so than anyone else. You talk to Zergs, and they're like, you know what, Infestors are pretty horrible. Dark says, no, not my Infestors. My Infestors are really good, and he hits some fantastic Infestor spells. Actually in game 1 as well, in the game that he lost. And folks, it's starting to feel like we're splitting the map up again. I mean, Dark's been able to build he's been able to build a decent economy. 75 workers. He's moving on into Infestors. Hive just about done. He got decent creep spread. It's starting to feel like we're gonna split this map once again. And yeah, this push from Cure is okay. Well, he's got it back. Well, hold on, thought here. We got 5 tanks here. Now the Bio's gonna move forward. Roach is trying to get on top of things, but the Banelings all get targeted on down. These tanks still firing away, but they will eventually get knocked down. Even with 5 tanks, that's not going to be enough. And Kira's forced back on the other side. He's got a bit of a drop here, but it does not get much of anything. Dark absolutely on top of this, but he's going to deal with the Lings because they don't really have, well, I guess they have 1-2, so actually their upgrades are rather nice, but Banelings are going to knock this one on out. You're only on 3 bases. Only 67 SCVs. He's got 2 just about done. That's the time he's gonna look to hit, I think. But Dark got his 5th base on the way. It is, he's starting to spread creep around it. We saw a Viper in production tab. The Hive is done. Or sorry, 3 Vipers even. Even better. Ultra Cavern on the way as well. I mean, it feels like Dark has hit the point where he is just unbreakable. And Kira trying to play a more active game at this point. It feels like it's gonna be hard for Kira to do that. There. Oh, looks like there was a nice funk on the right side, so Kira's gonna lose a bit of his army. Not too bad though. I mean, it just looks like about a medevac's worth, and that's fine. Okay, actually, we hold that thought because we got a big drop in the natural. Seems like this might get something done finally. Oh, good parasitic bombs means that this is a one-way trip. Actually, one-way trip for all the Marines, all the bio. But finally, 11 workers go down. Finally. Dark is forced back into his position just a little bit, but Kira not really pushing out of this one just yet. Finally, though, here he goes. +3 attack on the way. He has forgotten +3 armor because, hey, you know what? Bjorn's a good Terran player. We gotta take after Bjorn. There's a fantastic spree split coming in from Cure. Dark trying to make something happen. The Bile is going to knock 1 tank down. And look at this concave that Darks gets set up. We just got to wait for the Vipers because there are no ghosts on the field right now. Here we go. Blinding Clouds on top of 1 tank. Parasitic Bomb on top of the rest. Good fungals as well. So these medevacs, they're doomed to die. Here come the Lings from the right side. This army from Cure is actually, it's fighting rather strong. Surprisingly so with all the spellcasters as well. We're looking at only 1 infestor remaining. Actually, 0 infestors soon enough on the field. Viper's got a little bit more energy, but with all the Marauders in the field here, it seems like Cure is going to start pushing on forward. This is a bit scary for our DPG Zerg player. It felt like he was just unbreakable, but Cure, he actually took that fight rather well indeed. We got to wait for his reinforcements to come in. That is, of course, the downside of Cosmic Sapphire. It's a rather long map, but it's Queen Ravager. Queen Ravager Ling against this army. Well, they'll give you a hint about how that one works out, but it looks like for the moment the army is getting rather low, or just low enough that Kira says, I gotta wait a little bit more. I gotta set the push up once again. But the lack of hold that thought because Lings at least find their way in. Banes from the right side, from the left side, but target fire there, fantastic. Here come Ultras as well. They got +3 armor. They have chitinous plating. These Ultras, it's against +2 Marauders. They will not die quickly whatsoever. I mean, maybe it's an entire army against them, sure, but there's a lot more where that came from. So now Cure's got to run backwards in that one slim timing that it felt like Cure had. Not really anymore. Now the Ultras, they run back off creep, they run forward on creep, they go to and fro here and there. They don't have their speed just yet, but these are 5 armor Ultras against, yeah, it's a Marine Marauder, and now that this is +3, you can kill it a little bit easier, but there we go. Parasitic Bomb, Lings chasing things down. Blinding Cloud just to force the army of Cure to split away just a little bit. Looks like 1 Ultra will finally die, but it's only 1. Oh, getting a second one here. Good target fire. Marauders in this army are really starting to knock the Ultras down, but look at the supply gap that has opened on up here. The rally of Cure has just been stopped. He is only on triple orbital. Even the Ravagers are not dying all that quickly. No, Dark is taking the map. He's not taking the gold, and Cure scans that one out. He says, oh, please tell me you haven't taken that too. But Dark does have the rich Vespine base. That means he's more Infestors, more Vipers, more Ultras, these things that, yeah, they're expensive in minerals, but really it's the gas cost that makes them hard to get. Okay, finally. Dark's got to run by on the other side. Yeah, you can build a double wall all you want, but it doesn't really matter if you just keep the wall on open. I think not. So, some of the reinforcements of Cure will be dealt with. Dark Now running forward on the other side. Lings as well into the 4th base. That's not a planetary. The Lings on this side. Actually, the Queens, I guess they're made for walking, but they're off creeps. So they're not really going to do all that much. And there we have it. Yeah, Cure is just broken here. Dark weathers the storm, and now he's on series point. He's on tournament point. Dark, 2-1. In the bottom left now, in the blue, up 2-1 in the series. It's looking terrifying. It's Dark. In the upper right, looking to take us to a game number 5, folks. It's Cure. That 2-1-1 found just about negative damage. It really did not get much of anything at all. So where do we go in this game? Right? Dark has weathered every storm. He got aggressive twice and didn't really work out for him either time. I mean, it worked out for him, I guess, a little bit in game 2. Better in game 2. Kind of equalized things at the very least. But Inside and Out is a much shorter map. It is a map with some really nice tank positions. It's a map that we've seen Bjorn at least have some really effective, like 2.5 base tank pushes. In fact, his series versus the Laser of Valencia was such a great example of that. I don't think he won that game, but it was just, in fairness, he was dealing with some, he kind of lost that game because he was dealing with wrist issues, but it was such a cool game. And a game that he was probably in a good spot to win until his wrist just really started barking, and he won the series anyway. But anyway, nice job there. Cure gets a Trone. That's a start, and now it's just dead. Is it worth sacrificing a Reaper for a drone? Probably. What do we got? What is in Cure's base? Well, he says, okay, you know what? 3cc. Dark, if I'm not going to be able to break you early, maybe I got a shot at breaking you late. All that being said, I mean, in a game, the Dark was, I don't know, parts were maybe inauspicious for the, no. Dark was actually in a good spot, probably the entirety of the game, too. Cure wasn't able to make much happen. In a game that, we'll say even going to the late game. I mean, Cure, he actually made a great comeback, but he wasn't able to win the game in the end, and that's really what you're looking for. It doesn't matter how good your mid game was. What matters is whether you're able to win the game or not. So I don't know if I'm Cure that I want to allow Dark a free passage into the late game, because that is what this is doing. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, some Marauders are on the way. I just saw 3cc, and I was talking about that as if that's just what it was. We got Marauders on the way. And concussive shells. This is going to be a 3cc concussive shell. I think a Hellbat timing. We don't have an armory on the way just yet. We should see it in the next maybe 20 seconds. I think that's something that normally goes down right around 4:30. And did Dark scout that this is 3cc play? Oh, good job, Ed. No, he didn't. But he will never get that scout off now. So it's one of those things where it's almost like, is this too much of a big brain play? Right? You go from concussive shell Marauders and you say, oh, don't worry about it. It's a 3cc play. Maybe you're not expecting it, but no, not this game. SCVs were pulled away just a little bit, unfortunately, there. But all right, medevac is done. Armory halfway done. We're looking at 9 Hellions will be the name of the game from Cure at this point. He brings his entire army together. What do you have on the map for Dark? He's got 9 queens, six lings, but really it's 9 queens that make the difference. A couple more are on the way now, of course. And Dark does have the read, I think, that this is, in fact, going to be... Well, now he's got to know that there's a Hellbat push. The Hellions arriving this late from doing nothing, but... Well... Does Cure commit? There we go. Hellbat's moving in. Marauders running forward. Normally you want to bomb them. You want to bomb them on top of the queen so they get their tags off, but Cure being a little bit safer here, keeping his medevac way far back. His queen's target fire down things. Ling's trying to get on top of everything that they can. Now Queen's with a fantastic concave. Yeah, the medevac is not dead, but the Hellions are not really being healed by that just yet. As now, here again, Dark. He resplits, waits for more time, waits for more lings to pop out, waits for more queens to pop out. He just needs to kite this away for right now. And look at this medevac. It is just not part and parcel of this army whatsoever, but another queen will fall. Hellions and Marauders into the natural now as another medevac, or another Hellion, excuse me, another Hellbat will fall down here. Ling's looking for a little bit more. Now the Lings are dead, but this is starting to find a little bit more. This is a fantastic choke position out. One queen running for its life. More Hellions, more Hellbats are going to morph on out here. And this is starting to feel like this is getting enough damage done from Cure. He's gotten a bunch of queens. He's killed off a lot of Lings. This army is just not dying just yet. And there is, you bump Lings to deal with this. I mean, the Marauders are just, well, excuse me, the Hellbats are just too damn strong. Yeah, there are some Banelings finding their way up in the main base, but they're just going to die. This is... Cure played this so much more judiciously, and it really is working out for him here. There's a queen that's going to go down here as well. Into the main base they go, and yeah, it looks like the Hellbats are finally starting to get low. Feels like the Hellbats are finally starting to get low, but if Dark wants to win this at this point, it feels like he is just going to have to do so much with these mutas that he is building. And now, okay, finally it's dealt with for the most part, but it's another queen that's dead. Another queen that's going to go down, and into the third base they go. Another queen falls out. We're gonna look at units lost in a second to see how many queens have died, but it is a ludicrous amount, isn't it? Third base is how about to find more. 6 drones have died. What are we at? 13 queens. 13 queens to fit the deck at this point, and Dark still thinks he's a shot in this game. Folks, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I'm not trying to ruin the hope and dreams of Zerg players everywhere, but I'm pretty sure we're going to game 5 here. But now finally, Dark does clean everything up, and he's got Spire on the way. But Cure, remember behind this was 3cc Hellbat Marauder. Cure has been mining on 3 bases. He's on 67 workers. He's on double the army supply. 1-1's on the way. He's got a 4th base on the way. If Dark pulls this game back, if Dark does what he threatened to do on Stargazers, I'm going to be so damn impressed. I don't think he does. I don't think it's possible because, man, we got 6 mutas on the way right as this timing happens, and we're looking at not a lot of Marines, to be fair. Maybe the mutas can take this fight if Lings and Queens are able to knock enough Marines down, but into the natural we go once again. Hellbats here just buffering things. Mutas they're going to try to take the fight that they can. Marines target them all down, and the Marines, they're starting to fall just a little bit, actually. So Ling Muta will be able to deal with this one for the most part. Cure, it's a good scout that he got, and a bunch of mutas did die. So that could have been better. There's the next round over that push where that came from. Cure now doubling the army supply. Now his 1-1's done. Now there's 20% more HP in those Marines. Now it gets even worse for Dark. He's got Baneling speed halfway done, but not really relevant right now. And now again, Cure running forward, knocking the Banelings down. Means they're going to try to take this fight, but this is 1-1 bio with combat shields. It is a very different fight. There we go. Cure ties it up, folks. We're going to game 5. In the bottom left now, in the blue, tied up at 2 apiece. It's Dark. In the upper right, in the red. He took games 1 and 4, fell in the middle couple. Can he do it here? It's Cure. So, Cure went for a really cool build in game 4. It was a greedy as hell, but also aggressive as hell. It's one of those things where if you don't get enough damage done, you haven't defended your third appropriately, and the Zerg probably just swarms across the map and kills you. But if you are able to make that happen, if you are able to keep the Zerg back, then you have a quick third and everything else you could possibly want. And that ladder idea was absolutely what happened. So Dark did go pool first this game. And that actually is rather powerful on Waterfall just because of how quick the rush distance is. You can really find your way onto the command center. And Cure, though, he's aware of this now. He says, okay, well, you know what? On the flip side, if you go Reaper expand, you can get a Reaper in your opponent's base rather easily. And then you can see that, okay, the base is late. So for now, Dark not really getting a lot done with these Lings. Just got them kind of staged, but he will have about a 20-30 second faster speed than he might otherwise have. And that means maybe he can catch his opponent off guard. Now, of course, Cure scouts this out. He says, okay, well, there's the spawning pool is researching, and I know this was pool first, so he's going to say, okay, this is going to be 3-minute speed, most likely not 3:30. Lings on high ground, they will go. Notice, actually, Cure, he only raises one depot. He says, yeah, run in. Where my Marines are, you're going to run around things, it's going to be a positive trade for me. But it looks like actually we may be seeing a similar build that we saw. I think we're seeing the same build again, because notice there was one Hellion out, then Reactor. And that was what Cure did last time. He got himself just that one extra Hellion early. We're going to have to keep an eye on things. Is there a Marauder? Okay, it's actually not the same build because it's not 3rd CC, and it will be a tech. Okay. No, never mind. You have been fooled. You've been spoofed. I've been spoiled and spoofed, I guess, and that means that you all have been by definition. Except, actually, what am I saying? My viewers are incredibly intelligent. They know their YouTube GM, their Twitch GM. They know exactly what's happening, even when I get it wrong. So thank you for silently screaming at your screen when I say something that is marginally incorrect. I value that. What's the technique? You know, if you're trying to just get a lot of impressions and whatever, you just rage bait. You're like, we're gonna say something dumb like, ghosts are underpowered, and then you get people, but you get a lot of impressions on the tweet or whatever it is. Third base on the way here from Cure. This is just standard Hellion Banshee, really, and it is actually. It makes sense that we're going to kind of go very middle of the road for game number 5. We've had some marathon games. We've had some much shorter games. At the end of the day, this one for the difference between $200 $100, between 10 and 5 EPT points. Yeah, you might feel the need to keep it a little safer. I mean, this is not, say, game 7 of the grand finals of a major tournament, but at least not saying these players are not taking it lightly. But okay. Banshee looks to fly in. McQueens are well positioned there. Hellions looks like they're just knocking down a little bit of creep. That's nice. That is actually a big deal, as Cure has not been able to really keep control of creep in the last several games. It's been something that he's kind of had to fight back against after it's already really well established. So with the Hellions active on the map here, that is just be able to knock down the creep a little bit better is really, really effective. Or is good news for Cure as he moves into the mid game. Okay, Baneley Nest on the way. Seems like Dark is reading this as if this is a bunch of aggression coming in from Cure, which I'm not really sure it is. But anyway, he did go single Evo. He's got Carapace on the way. That being said, there is now also the opportunity for almost a Lingbane bust, except that's not going to happen because Baneley Nest is not yet done. We have seen some Zerg players win games on this map through some just through just some really cheeky either actually Mutiling Bane all in. We've seen Laser do that a couple times. But just some really cheeky Ling Bane Ling Floods where they win one fight, they just say, yeah, waterfalls stupid small. I'm gonna flood across the map again and I'm gonna kill you. Have fun. Okay, there we go. There's +1 attack on the way, +1 Carapace, or +2 Carapace. Well, also on the way. Dark's really going to stay on Ling Bane here. I think he's going to just go Ling Bane into Quick Ultra, getting a second macro hatch in this game. So he's going to 5 hatch. All right, 1, 2, 3. No, he's going to 6 hatch, excuse me, on 4 base. That is a lot of production that Dark's going to have for himself here, but it makes sense. If you think, okay, well, A, my opponent's going to push hard, and B, maybe it's harder for me to get those outlying bases just because the map is waterfall. Yeah, we won the hatches anyway, so might as well take it. 1-1 is done in 10 seconds here from Cure. That's what he's looking for, and Dark's going to look to force the anti-timing. Queens run forward. Lings on the backside. It is an anti-timing indeed, but 1-1 is now done, so the Lings, they all die. Queens, actually, they're off creep here. There's an opportunity for Cure to find maybe a little bit more, but the Baneleys, they come rotating in, and that's going to be enough to force Cure back for the moment. Meanwhile, Banshees on the other side. Looks like they got a little bit more. Now into the main base they go. Queens at the front means that these Banshees actually represent a lot of worker damage. Cure on the right side as well. Looks like Dark just has to give this base up. He is not ready. Baneley speed is not done. 8 workers have died. The 4th base will die. Actually, there we go. Cure stims in. He says, okay, I know you're going to give the base up right now, so I want to kill your workers. Base is dead. More drones die. Now Cure getting on top of things. A couple more workers fall. This push from Cure feels like it's gotten a lot more than I expected it to, and the run by from Dark that he wanted to go for, it's not there. Meanwhile, Banshee just got a little bit more. 14 total workers have died. Now the Banshee should be forced out here, and Cure's going to have to reposition his push. He's been pushing bottom right, and actually, wait a minute. Dark's going to try to take that base, and I don't know that he's going to have much more success than he... Actually, I think he's going to have less success than he did the first time. So this is just going to be a dead base. There we go. It's dead. Bye-bye. But Dark will have +2 Carapace done in a second, and that is something. And Cure is not really pushing from the right spot anymore. He's knocked this base down. It's going to be kind of hard for him to find his way home. He does want to be pushing horizontally. He wants to be pushing to the base that now Cure wants to take. But Dark says, okay, well, you know, my Baneley speed is done. I got plentiful Carapace. This time I'm going to kill you. But only 4 SCVs have fallen right now. Friendly Fire actually doing a whole doozy of a damage, but only 5 workers fall. And yeah, Cure has to lift that base up, but he doesn't force him home. It only kills 5 SCVs. Dark is really only a 3-base Zerg at the moment. Is now pushing from the north side with the entirety of... Okay, that could have been a free Bane, but no, that's not going to go down. The entirety of Dark's army is really on the bottom side. Base are not yet here. Again, a base will fall. Cure is just tearing Dark apart in this game number 5. That build seems to have all... that build in game 4 seems to just totally discombobulated Dark in this game, and now... Cure active in the main base. He's going to deny the 5th base, or the 4th base, I guess, from Dark once again. Queen's starting to fall. Drop back. Yeah, sure, you lose a couple Marines. You'll take that one as more and more drones. Well, actually, they're not going to go down, it looks like, but the Hellbat's still here, active from earlier. Well, Hellions, I guess, active from earlier. This is just... Cure is making this work so well. And how does he close? Dark has shown tremendous resilience. Stargazer's map in particular has just shown incredible resilience in this series thus far. Honestly, on Data C as well, as here comes a big surround. Marines are running on back, but I feel like this got yeah, there we go. Got a hot pickup on everything. This is a nice start. We talk about resilience. Well, killing off a couple tanks, killing off a lot of stuff. 13 SCVs go down from, it looks like, a Baneling run by in the 3rd base of Cure as well. Yeah, that's a good start. Supply is equalizing a lot more, and looks like Dark has been able to roughly... Okay, it's not there just yet, but it looks like it will be established. 2-2 now done for Dark, so he equalizes upgrades, and you're a little bit slow on that 3-3. That's been true in this series before, but 3-3 on the way now. Drilling Claws as well, and that really is the play. If your opponent's going Pureling Bane, get some Drilling Claws. Right? Go double factory, Drilling Claws, build 3 Widow Mines at a time. It's precisely what every Terran desires. Okay, Cure has been able to build his army supply up once again. Now he's got the push where he wants it to be. as random burrowed Banes looking to catch an eventual push for maybe from here on the bottom side. But here, fourth base on the way, looking to deny. We'll call this the fourth base of Dark. I mean, he kind of took it as his fifth base the first time, but looking to deny the fourth base of Dark, and Dark's just going to give it up. He says, yeah, I can't really fight this. Your army is too strong, it's too powerful. I need to buy more time. So he will lose yet another hatchery. That is the second hatchery of this game, and I think 2 or 3 more have been canceled. Meanwhile, Kira, minimal pressure on his economy. Yeah, he lost 13 SCVs, but that was from 70-something. We can see he's not even building us. He's pretty happy on 61. But now he rotates back home, and he says, okay, middle left, it's dead. Now it's time for me to go right side once again. And this is where the burrowed Banes are maybe going to be something here. Is Dark paying attention? Oh. Not bad. A drop in the main base. This is actually, yeah, okay, so this is big for 2 reasons. First of all, 16 workers go down. Second of all, it's against Gaddy. He says, okay, Dark, I know you're on high tech. I saw there were Vipers out. That's going to be really nice information here. He targets the hive, but realistically, 16 Marines will not get the hive. Not on 2-2. Maybe on 3-3. But Kira now nearing max out once again. His 3-3 is not done, but it is on the way. Did we have an Ultra Cavern? We do not. It is just bio now. Scans get dropped. We have more burrowed banelings elsewhere. And this is making, it seems like it's making Kira a little bit scared of moving out on the map. Oh, there we go. That's another one. It's starting to get juicy now. That was about 15 supply Marines right there, but Kira says, you know what? That's fine. I still got plenty of tanks. I still have plenty of push. My army is scary. My 3-3 is done rather soon, but Dark now, because he knocked those Marines down, he says, I can actually take this fight. Now Viper's running forward, looking for the blinding clouds. On the left side, looks like the base was denied, but tanks here, they will fall. Nice cleanup from Dark. He does lose a base for it, but that really was the best possible engagement. And if we look at resources lost, this game has felt really hard for Kira because he's not been able to establish a base. But it really is only plus 2k for Kira. He's not been taking the most cost-effective trades in the grand scheme of things, but now he's going to try to find another base here. Targeted on down. Banelings, look at those connections and the hot pickup in the nick of time. Base dies. Banelings do not get the connections they're looking for. Widowmine's burrow and Widowmine shots. Oh, get a medevac. That's nice. By now. 3-3, of course, done here for Kira. 3-3 getting closer to being done for Dark. At least he's got that one going for him. Adrenal glands are done. So these are effectively 5-2 lings. They're going to be 6-2 lings. The adrenal gland is really spooky. It just, of course, doesn't make your Banes better and doesn't make your Ultras better if you go for that. But okay. Dark realizes that he's going to have to turtle this out for a while if he wants to make anything happen. And so infestors are going to be the name of the game. Pathogen glands on the way, but Dark says, I need infestors faster than that. So he's going to have a couple that are just going to have to build energy up the old-fashioned way, and eventually there will be, of course, pathogen glands, and then they're going to pop out immediately ready to fungal. But for now, push on the bottom on the left side. Widowmine is going to be good splits. Okay, Widowmine's not going to. Oh, yeah. Widowmine's not going to get all that much. It looks like the base denied once again. Man, Dark should. Games happen like this sometimes, where you just have so much momentum back and forth that the Zerg is always just going to be a step behind base. Oh, those banelings are going to make a big difference though, and now it seems like Dark will be able to secure this base on the bottom right, but not, yeah, that one. Oh, that's a dead base too. Dead hatch, not a kill, not a cancel. But Dark is at least solidly on 4 bases. He's kind of solidly on 5 bases, 92 workers, but I'm not convinced that 92 workers is really even trading cost effectively here. Is 3-3 Marines. Those links around, they really do not get what they're looking for. But look at this, like, main base mostly mined out, natural getting pretty damn close to mining out. Third base, not all that great either, as it looks like a push on the left side, on the right side, excuse me, but that's a couple dead infestors, blinding cloud, or parasitic bombs don't get all that much. So yeah, Dark's on 92 workers, but I don't think that he's mining super efficiently out of it. So it's like, yeah, great, your economy's okay if you ever get bases, but you're really not getting it. You really don't have the bases to take advantage of your economy for the most part. As there we go, on the high ground, on the low ground. The Cure continues to be obnoxious with these drops, pushing forward on the right side. We don't have any Ghost Academy, by the way. It is just 4M. Tale as old as time. Banelings run forward. Marauders, they serve as a wall, and Marauders looking to stem forward. And yeah, Cure just has to give this base up. Good parasitic bomb, though, and looks like these medevacs will fall. But the one medevac that has all the Marines in it actually will stay alive, just barely. But okay. Dark back down on 4 bases. He's got 85 workers, but he is mining 43 out of 16 on that base. Folks, do not let anyone tell you that that is cost effective, because it is not. In no way, shape, or form is that mining efficiently whatsoever. Dark's been doing a good job maintaining a supply for the moment. Fungals, oh, that's a really nice fungal there. Widow Mines are gonna help out for the cause just a little bit, but Dark's setting up a big surround. He says, maybe I can make something happen here. Ultras, Infestors, Banes coming from every which angle. Fungal number 1 does not really land, but there are more where that came from. It will break Cure out of this position, but meanwhile, 20 workers have died. Again, doesn't really matter because Dark can't really mine from it, but this push on the left side has a lot to say. I think this base is going to go down pretty soon, but more Banelings arrive. There's that pickup. Widow Mines get good value. 30 workers die, but still Dark on 71. From the high ground, once again, damage happens. From the high ground, once again, Cure enforces his will. Banelings run forward, and actually, this army that Cure's got on the other side of the map is just really not all that great. With these effectively 3-5 Ultras, Banelings come rolling on in. Now the third base of Cure is going to get broken. The army supply of Cure is big, but it's not really where it needs to be at the moment. And another base from Dark goes down. Dark now on 3 hatch. Well, I guess 5 hatch, but 3 bases. And there we have it. He says, well played. Good game. Cure takes it in 5 epic games. Dark showing so much resiliency in the series, but it's not going to be enough. And folks, Cure, your champion. ESL Open Cup 133, Korea.